If you are on food stamps or EBT, listen up. Your benefits are changing on October 1st. This is going to affect all 42 million people on SNAP benefits. So I'm going to explain in detail what these changes are and how they affect you. Now, President Trump has issued several executive orders that have radically changed the food stamp program, and all those changes are coming to head on October the 1st. There's a lot of confusion around it. So I am going to explain to you how it's going to affect your benefit amount, asset limit, income limit, and other deductions that were previously allowed, but that have been changed tremendously. I'm also going to talk about changes that states are making specifically in their food stamps program that is going to affect millions of people. My name is Kwame Kwade. I am a government benefits expert. For 15 years, I've been helping seniors get the retirement benefits they deserve. If you are new here, welcome. I am glad you're here. Please do me a favor, go into the comments and let me know your city and your state, because I like to know where you're watching this channel from. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, thank you. I appreciate you for being here. We have a lot to cover. Let's start with the good news. So food stamp benefits are going up starting October the 1st. And as you can see from this article, it says what you need to know about significant changes. The keyword here is significant changes to SNAP benefits. And so the first change that I want to talk about is the amount of food stamps you can get. So starting October 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2026, the maximum amount a household of one person can get is going to increase to $298. If you're a household of two, the maximum food stamps amount you can get is $546. A household of four, $994, almost $1,000. And if you're a household of six, $1,421. So that is the biggest change I want to talk about, because a bit of good news, because your food stamp benefits continue to go up. Now, the next change I want to talk about is the income limit. Now, when it comes to income limit, there are two different thresholds. So I'm going to talk about income limit for seniors, and then I'm going to talk about income limit for everybody else, because seniors have a specific income limit that applies to them. So I'm going to start with the income limit for the general population so that you can see the difference between what seniors, the threshold that seniors have to pretty much follow, and what the general population. So starting October 1st, if you want to apply for food stamps, your gross income limit has to be less than $1,696 if you're a household of one. A household of two is $2,292. A household of four is $3,483, and a household of six is $4,675. At the top, you can see that gross income limit is 135, 30% of the federal poverty level. That is an important number to keep up, because each year the government releases the federal poverty level numbers, and it shows you what the government considers as poverty, and they use that data to determine a lot of government programs, including food stamps. So if you look at this 2025 federal poverty level data, you can see that 100% of poverty is 15,650 or less, and 130% of the federal poverty level is $20,345 for an individual. So that 20,345 is what you have to look at to divide by 12 to get your monthly data. So when I showed you the income limit for food stamps, a household of one is 130% of the federal poverty level. That is 1,696. It is, that number is taken from this chart, $20,345. So that is the income limit. Now let's go to the income limit for seniors, because I told you there is a special income limit that applies only to seniors. So let's talk about that. So I am going to show you a different set of data that only applies specifically to seniors. And here it is. So seniors have a much more generous income limit, and it's 165% of the federal poverty level. So if you're a senior citizen, you have more opportunity to qualify for food stamps. So in 2025, 2026, if you make less than $2,152, you are eligible. Or if you're an elderly disabled person, you also fall under the same requirement if you live in the lower 48 states, DC, Guam, and the Virgin Island. Alaska and Hawaii have different income limits that are usually higher because the cost of living there is much higher than the lower 48. So that is the income limit. Now let's talk about the asset limit. That's another change that is happening. The asset limit applies to a lot of states have asset limit, and it talks about the resources that you have in the bank in specific, financial instruments that they are tracking to make sure that you don't have too much money and are applying for government assistance. So for SNAP benefits starting October 1st, household with at least one member who is age 60 or older only have to comply with $4,500 or less or more in asset. So if you have more than $4,500 in your bank account as a senior citizen or somebody that is disabled, you are not eligible for SNAP. You have to have less than 4,500. For everybody else, that number is $3,000. So you cannot have more than $3,000 in your bank account in terms of asset to apply for food stamps. Now, one of the areas that seniors have been really frustrated when it comes to food stamps is the minimum amount. What is the minimum food stamps you can get if you are eligible? A lot of seniors apply for food stamps and then they go through the whole process and then they find out that they only get the minimum benefit. Last year, the minimum benefit was $23. This year, they were super generous, and I'm being funny here. They increased it to $24. So it hasn't changed that much. It only went out by $1. And so this is another source of frustration for seniors. And I've recorded a video previously talking about how you can get more food stamps, the things that you need to do, including paying attention to your deductions. And so next thing I want to talk about is the standard deductions that are allowed for food stamps. And these are things that you need to be aware of so that when you are applying for food stamps or reapplying or getting your annual or semi-annual um, renewal, you are making sure that they are looking at everything that you are eligible for that can increase your benefits. So when it comes to deductions, there's a standard deduction for household sizes 1 to 2. That is $209. If you're a household of 3, $209, and if you're a household of 4, it's $223. Everybody gets this deduction. And then there are additional deductions that can be taken depending on your circumstances. And that's where seniors come in, because there are things about utilities, about, medical bills that are eligible for deduction. So when you apply or you have your SNAP benefits reviewed, make sure that whoever you're talking to is deducting everything that you are eligible for as a senior citizen when you're applying for SNAP. So those are the big changes that are happening with food stamps when it comes to the application process, how much food stamps you can get, what the minimum benefit is, what the income limit is, what the asset limit is. So that's the first change. The second big change is about an executive order that the president issued that is now going to cause a lot of people to lose their benefits. Now, that is not good news, but it's news that you have to be aware of in case your benefits are impacted. So, this is from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. Many low income people will soon begin to lose food assistance under Republican mega bill. USDA's delayed guidance risks deeper cuts to eligible people. And this came out on September the 10th, about a week ago. So, let's talk about it. So it says the Department of Agriculture has begun publishing guidance outlining how states must begin implementing some of the deepest SNAP cuts from the Republican mega bill enacted in July. While there are still many unanswered questions, some low-income families will see their food assistance terminated or cut substantially this fall. It's happening this fall. We're already in the fall. So it is already here. And you're going to see that happen soon. So who is affected? Though most current participants will face cuts when their SNAP eligibility is next recertified, states recertify eligibility for SNAP every 6 or 12 months. Approximately 4 million people in a typical month will lose some or all of their SNAP benefits once the changes are fully implemented, based on the Congressional Budget Office estimate. They include families with children, older adults, people with disabilities, and veterans. So you can see these changes cut broadly. They affect seniors, they affect people with disability. Basically, people who are vulnerable have been targeted by this bill, and 4 million of them are going to lose their benefits. So I am going to stay on top of this news and make sure that I bring you updates on the changes. But here is the thing that you need to understand, and it says it right here. Millions of low-income adults will face red tape due to expanded work requirements. Many will lose SNAP. What is that about? The mega bill dramatically expands SNAP's harsh and ineffective work requirements in two ways. The first one is applying the work requirement to additional vulnerable populations. Here is where seniors need to pay attention. The law applies the work requirement to older adults aged 55 through 64 and parents with children aged 14 and older for the first time. It also removes exemptions. Here is the thing. It also removes exemptions for veterans, people experiencing homelessness, and young people who recently aged out of foster care. These exemptions were added in bipartisan legislation in 2033. They've now been taken away. So unless you can document 20 hours of week or participation in a narrow set of work activities or prove that you qualify for an exemption, you are going to lose your food stamps benefits. And the CBO estimates that 1.4 million people newly subject to the limit will cut off SNAP in a typical month when it is fully in effect. When these adults are cut off from SNAP, benefits will be reduced significantly for their remaining household members, including children in school. We estimate that 500,000 additional people will experience a benefit cut as a result, including children, people with disabilities, and older adults. So that is a lot. And then the next place that they're cutting food stamps is dramatically limiting waivers in areas of high unemployment. Previously, when states have high unemployment in certain areas in their state, they are able to apply for exemption so that more of those people who are unemployed for a long period of time can apply for food stamps and get help. That is being taken away. So let's read some more. The mega bill also substantially curtails states' ability to temporarily waive a 3-month limit in areas with insufficient jobs based on local labor market conditions. As of September 1st, 2025, 20 states had previously been approved for certain areas of their state, and California, Illinois, Nevada, District of Columbia, Guam, and Virgin Islands had waivers for their entire state. But under the mega bill, only areas with an unemployment rate above 10% will be eligible for a waiver, which means very few areas will continue to qualify. As a result, many more people will be subject to the 3-month limit and cut off from SNAP, especially if they live in areas with fewer job opportunities. This is actually much worse than I thought it was going to be. So I will stay on top of this story and bring you additional details as they become available. The next place that they are making a lot of changes that you need to be aware of is what you can buy with your food stamps benefit. Now, it used to be that there was a set of things that you can buy with SNAP benefits, and it has been standard for a long time. And the rules have been issued and people just complied with those things, and it was a very simple set of things that you can buy or not buy with your food stamps benefit. That has not changed for decades. And then recently, states started targeting more things that they don't want people to buy with their food stamps. And what started as something that was being discussed every year as part of the political environment has now gathered steam. And so now there's a whole list of things that you cannot buy with your food stamps. and they're becoming state specific. So the question is, how do you know? How do you know what you can and cannot buy, and which states are doing this? So I have a map that I want to share with you, that will highlight exactly which states have already implemented this plan and the ones that are considering implementing this plan. But before I show that map to you, let's do this first. Let's talk about currently what can you buy with food stamps. Well, you can see here that it says any food for household consumption, fruits and vegetables, meat, poultry and fish, dairy products, bread and cereals, other foods such as snack foods and non-alcoholic beverages. See that part? Other foods such as snack foods and non-alcoholic beverages, seeds and plants which produce food for the household to eat. Already, you could not buy beer, wine, and liquor with food stamps. You could not buy cigarettes and tobacco, food and drink containing controlled substances such as cannabis, marijuana, CBD. All of that makes sense. Vitamins, medicines, supplements. If an item has a supplemental fact label, it is considered a supplement and is not eligible for SNAP. That makes sense. Live animals except shellfish, fish removed from water, and animals slaughtered prior to pickup from the store, foods that are hot at the point of sale, non-food items such as pet food, hygiene products, paper products, etc. All those make sense. But now they want to go further, and that's what I want to talk to you about. So I have this map that I want to share with you that shows you what you cannot buy by state. So this is a map that Newsweek compiled, and it says, as you can see there, it says states that, let me make sure you can see that. Yes, it says states banning SNAP junk food due to go into effect in 2026. They have three different columns: yes, attempted, and in consideration. So as you can see, the yes part has grown very dramatically. All of this happened this year. So Florida has, banned SNAP junk food purchases. That's going to affect 2.9 million people. Texas has also banned SNAP junk food purchases. It's going to affect 3.1 million people. Louisiana, 847,000 people are going to be affected. Oklahoma, 686,000. Arkansas, 240,000. West Virginia, 277,000. Indiana, 610,000 people are going to be impacted. Iowa, 259,000. Nebraska, 155. Colorado, 584,000. Utah, 169,000. And Idaho, 130,000. So it is concentrated in the middle part of the country and the South. Now, who are the next people in line who are considering doing the same thing? Mississippi is considering a ban on junk food. Is going to affect 384,000 people. Tennessee, 711,000. South Carolina, 581,000. Ohio, 1.3 million. Pennsylvania, 2 million. Michigan, 1.4 million. And then who are the people that have attempted but have not succeeded yet? Montana, 80,000, and Kentucky, 595,000. I'm going to tell you this. This list is coming from the USDA and the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities. This list is going to grow. There's no going back. They are going to continue to pursue this until they get it nationwide. And I won't be surprised if the USDA just does a national policy that covers everything. So those are the SNAP changes that are happening that I wanted to bring to your attention. And before we go, I want to talk to you about Medicare open season that is about to happen. Open enrollment is going to start soon. And I have been talking about the fact that my mission over the next 12 months is to help seniors achieve peace of mind regarding Medicare. Like, I mean that sincerely. I want you to have peace of mind regarding your Medicare benefits. Why is that important? Because Not having peace of mind, meaning that there could be surprises. You could be on a policy that you think will cover the things that you need, and then your plan will drop you. Or you think that you have certain coverages, and you find out that the hospital network or the doctor network you needed is no longer part of your plan. That is happening a lot. And so our partner, Chapter Medicare, we are partnering with them because they are the unbiased advisor that you need in your corner to help you get that peace of mind about Medicare. Why is that important? Well, it can cost you. The average senior spends $300,000 on Medicare during their retirement, and it can affect your health. Access to the right services when you need it the most is what every senior wants, but it does not come automatically. The government does not just put you in a good Medicare program. You have to take the initiative to do that. And because there are 24,000 plans, you need somebody that is knowledgeable about what is the best plan in your local area that fits your budget, fits your needs, and can provide you the best coverage you need because you've earned it. You paid into Medicare for decades. Now you qualify, you're eligible. Why not maximize what you get out of it? And Chapter Medicare is the solution. Chapter has helped over 2,000 of our viewers like you get that peace of mind about Medicare that I'm talking about, because when you call them, they are going to look at your plan and tell you whether you're in the right plan or not. If you're not, they are going to show you options available in your local area that meets your budget, meets your coverage needs, your prescription drugs, the hospital networks, the doctors you need, and then help you make an informed decision. So call 539-205-2147 today. Don't delay, because the window to make a change is about to open, and you want to be first in line to get that done. Or call, you can fill out a short form. I'm going to put the form in the description, in the comments. I'm going to pin it to our comments, and you can click on it. It takes less than a minute. Fill it out, and they will reach out to you and help you. Or you can go to askchapter.org/insider. These guys are the real deal, and they can save you $1,100 a year. A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, tons of 5-star reviews that we've been sharing online from people that we have sent to Chapter that have had a great experience. We want to make sure that you get that experience too. So give them a call today. The window, as I said, is very small, and you want to get this done as soon as possible. So if you like what you heard today, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on another video tomorrow.